like, I didn't even know we could do that. So yeah, that was nice. The positive one was my birthday is in September, so a couple days after my birthday, when the numbers had gone back down because they were at a bit of a peak, me and about three of my friends got food and just went on a picnic essentially, where we walked around, avoided other people, and had lunch, and it was nice.
Okay, that's very nice. I really get where you're coming from with the avoid other people part, you know. That is one of the very, very firm protocols that the CDC has, you know, that social distancing, you know, we have to abide by those rules, ensure we wash our hands, keep that 6 feet distance from everyone to ensure that we do not contract or spread the virus further. And now let's move to Miss Madeline Youssef. What is your response to that question? What is the surprising and positive experiences that you have had during the pandemic?
I didn't have any surprising experiences. I just had a lot of positive ones. So um, I I never knew how to swim before, and during this time, I was able to jump off a big dock with the most fear I had in my stomach, and I just learned how to swim then. Um, I got into yoga, I got into meditation. Most of all of my friends are really spiritual, so I had already been on a path as such. Of course, I follow my religion as well, but it just helps a lot, and it just allowed me to enjoy this time more. As a matter of fact, I don't think that the COVID experience is so bad for me, let alone the Virgin Islands, because we really have the lowest number from any other place. And I think that we should be very grateful for that fact that we can still enjoy, we can still have our places open, we can still do whatever. So for me, it was just a lot of spending time with genuine people that also just added to the whole positive ambience.
Lovely, lovely. And just to add a little bit to that, it's quite surprising to see that during this COVID pandemic, we were able to push ourselves to the point of doing things that we never thought we would have done, like how you, Miss Madeline, just explained that she actually built up that courage to jump off a big dock. You know, that's something I have yet built the courage to do. But way to go to you, Miss Madeline Youssef, and your quest in your real religion and, you know, going about that. That was very good as well. Good for you. Now let's going to the third question, which is, how do you think the world will be different after this COVID-19 pandemic?
I'll take that one first again, just because I was thinking about that the other day.
Mhm.
So I think people will enjoy seeing others face to face more because they had about 8 months, 9 months, almost a year of staying far, far away from people.
Mhm.
They'll still get a little bit afraid though to be too close. So they'll be like, 6 feet away. Wait, no, it's done. Okay, you can come closer. Let's see what else. The world, it was how the world would change, right?
Yes. Do you think it would be
In
different?
terms of what's it called? Netflix, I know, is going to have a lot more money and stream platforms like that. Video games are going to be a lot richer and better because of all this. All I worry for is theme parks because I like to go to them and they've taken a hit since this. Yeah.
Okay. Lovely. How about you, Miss Brown?
Um, for me, I think traveling is gonna be like extremely, extremely more. Like it's gonna be packed. Like persons that been wanting to travel for months now and they can't go anywhere. So now the planes are gonna be full. I think I agree with Dazante. Am I saying that right? Yeah.
That's John Tampa close enough.
Just I agree with him with saying that social media like social online things are gonna get like higher, especially like shopping. Like where I live in Antigua, people don't go to shop anymore physically. They just do it, like text it, and then you pay with your credit card and it's delivered to you. So it's like, I don't think that's gonna change back to physical, at least for my country.
Wow, that is so very true. That as well. What about you, Miss Madeline Youssef? What in what ways do you think the world will be different after the COVID-19 pandemic?
I think that one of the main facets to look at is the economic development. Uh, as we have been going through the COVID, I had to actually do a PowerPoint for one of my classes right before the last semester that passed, and it was it was very shocking to know that the stock market altogether would decrease potentially by 3%, which is very huge for the stock market. We are all tied into the stock market, even if we are not personally tied in. The businesses that we support, the things that we depend on, they're all tied in. So it's just all in midair. And when it decreases, everything just disappears out of nowhere, and we've lost a surplus of money. And I think that in times like this, especially America,
Mhm.
has a nasty tendency to raise prices during like disasters or epidemics, pandemics, whatever the case is. And it's just like the common sense is so little there. How do you expect us to gain the money when we don't even have the jobs to actually support ourselves? We are in the middle of something that is lessening the chances of us receiving money. So I think that economically we will have a slow growth. And yes, probably people will travel because I know I've been planning to and all these things. However, I feel like overall the achievements of getting back there to where we first started is going to be very slow, and that will put a damper on us, to be honest.
I 100% agree with what you just said. I truly believe so as well. And in my perspective, just giving my own response to this question in terms of employment, I really believe that after this pandemic ends, I believe that a lot of businesses have now realized that there is no major need for employees to actually come into an office or an organization to work, because currently a lot of people is working at home, where that decreases the amount the company has to spend to facilitate those employees they have working at businesses. I believe now that those companies would be able to save that money and probably invest it in better technology used for their employees to stay at home and work. That has its pros and its cons, but I believe that this COVID-19 virus really had a major impact and eye opener, that is, to employment. Um, we are now going to move on to the fourth question, which is, based on your experiences, what do you wish you had known back in March when the pandemic first started? What you wish you knew? What are those ideas, opinions, or comments that you guys have on that question? Mr. Maturin, I see you were quite excited.
I was giving somebody like 5 seconds just to see if they're going to say anything. But I wish I knew was that it would have gone on this long, because I would have picked back up piano and learning Spanish back then, because a couple years ago, I was no piano aficionado, but I could play moderately well. Since college, that dropped and stopped.
Oh.
So if I knew I had all this time, I would have practiced about 20 minutes a day, because that would make a huge difference, actually beyond where I was before. and for learning Spanish. I've always wanted to do that. I got pretty good up and down. Like I said, college makes other activities take a hit when you first join. So I would have picked that back up. And I feel like I would have been a lot farther on now because I'm only just beginning again now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that time wasted.
Yes. I myself, and especially about the piano part, I myself really was interested in learning to play the violin. And probably if I had known it would have lasted this long, I probably would have, gone forward and taken those violin lessons. But it is what it is. Miss Adina Brown, would you like to respond to that question? What do you think, or what do you wish you had known back in March when the COVID-19 pandemic first started?
Personally, I wish I had known about the travel process before I left after the pandemic, and UVI told us that we can't stay on campus anymore. That was very terrifying for me because they were saying that we're going to be social distancing, and when I got on the plane, there was like everybody packed up, and I'm like, why? I was like so terrified and scared, and I was like, somebody could have told me and I would have stayed put and not went anywhere.
Wow. Okay. And how about you, Miss Madeline Youssef? What do you wish you had known?
I don't think I wish I knew anything. I am very appreciative of the way things turned out, even if there were some incidents were very horrible. I had a lot of unfortunate meetings with health issues, and if I had known that before, that I don't think there was any room for me to improve on anything or any room for realization. So I don't really wish I knew anything.
Okay, in terms of your health issues, I really hope that you are all better now and everything continues to go well with you. And we have one of our final questions here today for this panel, and it is, what would you have made the COVID-19 challenge and experience easier for you? Let me go over that question. What would have made the COVID-19 and college experience easier for you? I personally, what would have made that experience easier for me is if that virus was non-existent, if it never happened at all. It really would have made my life easier because 2020 was really a year I had planned, for a lot of stuff, and because of that virus, I did not get to accomplish almost anything of what I had planned for this year. But as I said already, it is what it is. So, Mr. Machin, how about you? What would have made the COVID-19 and college experience easier for you?
It's not what would have, but what will make it easier. If WAPA was reliable, because at this point, they are only reliable in their unreliability. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you'll just be in class, learning. All of a sudden, everything goes dead. You're like, I'm about to have a problem. So that would have made it easier. I guess if I had taken more online courses before this entire thing, because we all essentially were forced to become online students. Mm-hmm. So if I had taken one or two more courses, I would have been better acquainted. But yeah, those two things.
Okay. And how about you, Miss Adina Brown? What would have made the experience easier for you?
Well, WAPA as well. Internet, that would be great. Devices, as they're very unreliable sometimes. But personally, that's the only thing I think would have helped. Because for me, it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing with COVID. It's just like persons putting fear in your head every time you go outside, and that that messes with me a lot mentally. But other than that, I think just basically Wi-Fi and internet. That's about it.
Okay. And what about you, Miss Youssef? What would have made the COVID-19 and college experience easier for you?
Once again, just if teachers were considerate, I think that like some of my teachers, honestly, they're clearly acknowledging the fact that it's difficult at this time. So I'm thankful for that. But there are some that is just so unnecessarily overwhelming, and I think that in terms of just being reasonable, they tend to lack that ability to do so. And I mean, just thinking about from the way they were before, it's like it shouldn't even be a situation like this to bring something like that up. And I feel like UVI on a whole has a lot of issues that they really need to work on, because then when it comes to moments like this, it becomes very stressful and difficult. Just for one, I'm an English major, creative writing. I really shouldn't be having to take science classes. I don't see any way. Like, I already took two. I don't see that there's a need for a third one. And even in that, I think like when teachers have deadlines to work, it's
Mhm.
so it's just becomes so annoying. You're no longer doing it to learn. You're just doing it to like get rid of this. Like, let's just keep going. So like to have a deadline every Monday and Wednesday, or every Friday, every Tuesday and Thursday for different classes with so many questions that only worth 10% of your grade, yet they stress you so much if you don't do it. It's just unnecessary. It's like we're not programmed to be on a roll all the time. And I think that they feel that they can just complain about anything and it's okay for them, but they're not taking into consideration the life of a student, let alone just the life of everyone. So that would really be my only thing.
Okay, okay. I have listened to each and every single one of you. Um, Truly, this panel was very efficient. If I were to say anything about it, very fruitful. I loved the conversation that we just had. I'm seeing that Miss Stridon is lifting her hand in the chat. I'm not sure if she is saying something. If you are Miss Stridon, if you there and if you would like to add anything, you could probably unmute your mic and say. Okay, so it looks like she dropped off a bit. Um, well, I would like to say thank you to you, our panelists and our viewers. You know, I really appreciated you all being here. And if you all notice, we are actually missing one of our panelists, and she had a death in her family this morning. So I would like to have a 1 moment or 1 minute of silence. It's now 2 minutes to 11 o'clock. So I would like to have a 1 minute of silence for her. So if we can just bow our heads and have that 1 minute of silence, that would be so great. And may the soul of our dearly departed rest in perfect peace. Amen. Once again, thank you everyone for being here. It was really a pleasure being your mediator here this morning. Thank you all for joining.